You guys know what it's like to be Cowboys fans at this point, sifting through numerous ESPN, Bleacher Report, mock trades. Dallas is getting Tyreek Hill. They're trading Dak Prescott to the Browns. It's just mock trades, crazy mock drafts. It's just insane. And it's mainly the big media companies just throwing out article after article with a bunch of stuff that's not going to happen. You guys know Jerry Jones. You know Stephen Jones. You know what they're willing to do in free agency and in the draft. So hopefully you haven't really fallen for any of those. But in today's video, we are going to talk about a couple scenarios, a couple players that Dallas would trade for. We've seen reports on a couple of these guys, other people talking about it, more credible sources talking about it. So let's get into the video. We're going to start because I just realized I haven't talked about him on the channel yet, and I feel like I should because it's a real possibility, or because I want it to happen so bad. So I'm not completely upset when the draft gets here and Dallas takes a quarterback that I really don't want. So I feel like we got to talk about Joe Milton III from the Patriots, someone that is clearly on the trade block. It's been reported by the Patriots. It's been reported by numerous Cowboys sources that Joe Milton is an option in Dallas. And Stephen Jones certainly didn't help the discussion, or he did. He got a lot of people's hopes up talking about Dallas's free agency so far, and if they would be willing to make a couple more trades to improve this roster. But the question was asked on the Cowboys search for a backup quarterback and what they look for in one. Stephen Jones said, yes, still an option that we're looking at. We can do it via trade. So mentions trade right off the bat. What can do it via what's available out there? Trade is one of them, and certainly signing available guys are one of them. I don't really think they're interested in any of the quarterbacks still hanging out there on the market, especially not being quarterback 2 in 2025. How many lost seasons have we seen? I know of 2, more with Tony Romo, but with Dak Prescott having a season-ending injury, I think Dallas actually wants to get better at that spot and not just keep riding the awful quarterback 2 to 5-win seasons. Stephen Jones continued and said, I think we look at the full package. You're probably not going to get all of the things just right or exactly what you want, but at the same time, you want to get the very best guy that we think gives us the best chance to go out and compete with Grier and be good in that room with Dak and Grier and whoever else we add. So pretty much that's Jerry Jones' word salad a little bit. Stephen is pretty much just talking about the quarterback position, how hard it is to find the guy that gives you everything that you want, but mainly finding someone that fits in well with Dak, fits in well with Will Grier. And I do think that is Joe Milton. Obviously, he doesn't come in and just start vying for the starting job. Joe Milton comes in and is immediately quarterback 2 because he's the second best quarterback on your roster and is able to develop behind Dak Prescott. And I really need to express how excited I would be if Milton is on this team. He's 6'5", 235 pounds. He's just 25 years old. And at 25 is a little bit older because he was a rookie last year, but that's because he played 6 years of college football. A trend that we're starting to see in the NFL with a lot of these rookie quarterbacks is that they've played 4 and 5 years of college football and less of the guys going 3 years and then getting in the NFL draft and being taken top 5 and then producing right away. A lot of the guys that have had NFL success recently, like Jayden Daniels, who played 5 years, they have more and more experience. They've played a lot of football. They've seen a lot of football. They've played in really good conferences. And I think that's Joe Milton. For the quarterback position, Milton has elite traits. The arm strength, the arm talent is number 1 with Joe Milton. That's the first thing that you can hang your hat on with him as a prospect. It's the first thing mentioned every time you say, what kind of quarterback is Milton? He can easily get the ball into tight coverage. He can fit it through windows that most NFL quarterbacks can't. He's also a guy that will stand in the pocket, make throws because of the size. Like, he's Cam Newton sized. Because of that, he'll stand in the pocket and take a hit from a defensive lineman just to get the ball out. And in his career at Tennessee, he wasn't that productive of a passer. It's probably why he went in round 6. He had 32 touchdowns over 3 seasons at Tennessee, just throwing 5 interceptions. So the numbers aren't gaudy, they weren't crazy, and the arm strength was something that you could really hang your hat on. But I think the downfield accuracy, some of the processing over the middle, that's where he really struggled as a passer at Tennessee, seeing those linebackers underneath, trying to, thread the needle and get it to a guy on a deep dig route. That was some stuff that he struggled with, and it's why he fell to the 6th round. But when he got to New England, I know people say this with Dak Prescott. People argue that Cooper Rush was better than Dak and all this crazy stuff. So maybe it was the same way. I don't keep up with the Patriots. I don't really know. People said that Milton looked better than May for a lot of camp, for a lot of the preseason. I know May didn't really play that much in the preseason, but Milton looked better at times. He looked more aware, looked more like a veteran, really leading the offense. And when he finally got to play in week 18, I thought he played well against a Buffalo Bills team that really wasn't playing for much. But Milton kind of showed out, showed what he could do, did a really good job escaping out of the pocket, making throws downfield, getting the ball out quick. I think he was getting the ball out in 3.3 seconds, which ranked first in the NFL amongst qualified passers. Obviously, Milton threw like 35 total passes, so not really a huge sample size, but a little bit of something. But I thought Milton looked better in the NFL, the limited action that he got in the NFL, than he did at Tennessee. Does it mean much? Is the sample size big enough? We don't really know. So if Dallas is going to trade for him, I don't think I would want them to give up more than a 5th round pick. The asking price right now, and maybe this is what Dallas and New England is really hanging on to right now. Maybe they can't find a way to meet in the middle. Dallas doesn't have their 4th round pick. Jonathan Mingo's here. So Dallas doesn't want to give up a 3rd. New England wants a 3rd. Dallas is willing to give up a 5th. New England doesn't want a 5th. Maybe that's kind of the holdup right now. But at this point, Joe Milton is going to be moved from New England. Is it going to be to Dallas? I really hope so. They get him for a 5th round pick. I'll be so excited. I would rather do that than the Cowboys go into the draft without a quarterback 2 and reach on someone inside the top 100. That's kind of my main thing. Joe Milton has 3 more years left on his contract. He would be the perfect quarterback 2 over the next 3 years. And if he does have to play, you feel better about it than taking Quinn Ewers and him having to sit through Dak's entire contract, but you just burnt a 2nd or 3rd round pick on a guy like that. I'm not interested. Let's trade for Joe Milton. 5th round pick. Come on, New England. Do it. So that's one that's kind of been backed up. This next one is a little bit more iffy. Hasn't really, materialized in the same way that trading for a quarterback 2 has, but trading up in the draft, mainly the main name that everyone's been talking about is Travis Hunter. Colorado wide receiver, cornerback. For a lot of people, their number 1 player in the draft. He can play both sides of the ball, a really good wide receiver. Reminds me a lot of Justin Jefferson in the way that he moves, the athleticism, the catch radius, the hands, and then opposite, his ability to mirror as a corner, flip his hips and run. Just an extraordinary athlete, literally next level. But this is a conversation that mainly Cowboys media has been having, and maybe it's because we're so deep into the offseason, we have a month until the draft, that there's nothing else to talk about. But Josina Anderson, I believe I said her name right, of Yahoo Sports, will typically throw some nuggets out there from what she's heard around the Cowboys. And the report was that Jerry Jones likes Travis Hunter. Of course he does. Travis Hunter's a top 2 player in this draft. I do have Abdul Carter higher than him, but he's a top 2 player. Everybody loves him. I mean, I'm sure the Eagles would love him if he fell to 32 or whatever. I'm sure they would love to draft Travis Hunter, and I'm sure Jerry Jones would as well. But as we know from this front office, from Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, their risk management is so low. Their ability or willingness to risk draft picks to move up, maybe give up a 2nd round pick this year, give up a 3rd round pick as well, or a 2nd round pick next year, whatever it takes to get from 12 to probably 4 if Travis Hunter were to fall that far. I'm not sure the Cowboys are all that interested in that. Would it be awesome? Would it get this organization, this fan base super excited for the future? It give them something to kind of get this thing going again? Sure. But is it going to happen? No, probably not. I would be extremely shocked. On a scale from 1 to 100, my guess on this happening would be a 5. There's a 5% chance maybe Jerry and Steven get a wild hair and say, this is the guy's the highest player we've ever had graded in the entirety of our drafting history. We got to go get him. But I don't really see that happening. I don't know what the plan what are you going to get him for? Is it corner? Is it wide receiver? Is it both? The truth is there's probably not going to be a big time trade. And I say big time trade as in a Tyreek Hill or Christian McCaffrey. We've seen those two names thrown out ever since last year, but free agency for this team is certainly still an option. There's not a ton of names out there that really get you excited for the future. Keenan Allen is still available, a really good route runner. Although he's getting up there in age, he can really hang his hat on being technical, good off the line. Maybe he could be a solid wide receiver 3 for you. Not really the guy I would want to be the wide receiver 2. You have Tyler Lockett. He's getting up there in age, but somebody that can get open, somebody that can work the slot when CD isn't. He's always an option. You have Asante Samuel Jr., cornerback. Dallas is obviously needs corners. I just recently did a mock draft where we took Jahdae Barron because that room is one Deron Bland injury away from being a disaster. Like, you are in deep crap if Deron Bland goes down. Getting Asante Samuel Jr., although he's not as good as he once was, I remember him being really good when he was a rookie, sophomore player. Maybe he's not the same guy, but he does give you an NFL level player at the position. Really, those two trades, Joe Milton, Travis Hunter, interesting ones to discuss. The Travis Hunter one happens. Watch me, Foot, Skywalker, Steele freak out on our live draft show. Hopefully, Joe Milton is a Dallas Cowboy. We get to watch him in the preseason. I'm cheering for the Joe Milton one. I'm cheering for the Travis Hunter one. I just want to know what they would have to give up, what they would be willing to give up. But you guys let me know down below in the comments. What other videos do you want to see? You know, we're kind of in a little lull here in the NFL offseason. But thank you guys so much for watching and supporting the channel. Please make sure you leave a like and subscribe. I love you all, and I'll see you next time.